Hello gamers, today we are embodying the Slayer King, slayer of many dragons, many giants, and any foul beast that creeps into our land. Our format's changing a little bit. I'm going to actually be relaying story to role-playing out the character, I guess. You guys will see how it is. I have a script laid out, more intense than before. And we're about to get right into that. We're going to eliminate any of these end-game challenges that don't exactly fit, but y'all know which one is going to work. And here we find ourselves in odd circumstance, to say the least. The majority of our lands have been taken by the vicious greenskins, and we're left with a single hold. This is unbeknownst to us, especially as slayers, who have an oath to protect my land as the king, and they have an oath to die in battle. You know, my oath is juxtaposed with my oath to stay alive as the king. But, to say the least, I'm going to be going into battle, and I'm going to be slaying these foul beasts in hand-to-hand combat, as anyone else would. I have no intention to, stay alive like I promised. I am the Slayer King, and I intend to slay these beasts. So, we charge in here, full frontal assault. I think he is a rune sorcerer. He will be assisting us in some battles. I, of course, have taught him through the years of him being a lord and a runesmith under my stead. I have taught him the ways of, commanding an army. So anytime I find an army or a battle too bothersome, since, a lot of head injuries from headbutting contests have left me not the most intelligent, I will allow him to automatically resolve those conflicts for us. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But with slaying these foes, that is one step closer to our first hold. We must advance farther here. To the east, we must go grab this hold, and then there's a hold to the south. But we have that ever-looming threat to the north of a much more major orcish tribe, as they are in fact led by a lord of legend and renown, with some sort of crazed cap I have heard that possesses demonic, draconic, or vampiric energy. With this, we would, however, lose a slayer. Our lord isn't always the best commander, and our slayers, a slayer lawyer. No, our slayers with their, I think it's called the end of life perk, means they would die before ever retreating in battle, as any good slayer would. Us slayers, all of us, if I don't think there's anyone here who doesn't know how that is. Slayers take an oath of death and duty to their clan and kin for a great shame they carry. This is essentially just, oh, I fucked up. I, lost my beard, burned my hair, or I, cheated on my wife or something. You're just like, instead of, since we hold grudges, instead of apologizing like the filthy fucking manlings would and talking it out and going to talk therapy, we instead, shave our heads and our beards. Not our beards, never our beards. We shave our heads and instead charge into battle to seek a death to be welcome into Grumnir's halls again. But, it's decently realistic. It's exactly what we would do, and Godric and Felix have come to visit us. I had sent out notice to Godric, as I'd known him. He had visited my keep on a thunder barge with Malachi McCason, another slayer, and so I know how to contact him. I'd contacted him. He's going to be visiting us throughout this to come help the Slayer King and maintain his Slayer oath. So we're going to recruit him here in a week or so, and then we've got to push north, as it seems we have a looming threat of the Musilion, I think they're called. I'm not quite sure what that vampire tribe is called, but that does, however, sound correct. Anyways, I'm a king of battle and duty, not exactly diplomacy, so don't expect me to get all my words right. Words are for manlings, poets, and kings. And while I am a king, I am neither a manling or a poet. If we had Godric or Felix here, maybe his old manservant, or who were they traveling with? That wizard Max. They were all well-spoken. Katarina. There's so many well-spoken. Maybe even go the vampires to the west. They probably speak better than me. Not that Sylvania is an easily understandable accent. We've recruited our teammates. We're going to actually equip them with a force. A small one, not exactly large, but some slayers and some miners for them to lead into battle. Just someone to, I guess, essentially do something. I don't want them to be charging into battle alone. I know they are entirely good for it, but I would rather keep them alive. I do feel Godric has a greater destiny than we may know. That's for sure. And we wait a couple turns, or maybe not all. And we do lose a lot, but look at that garrison. I mean, that is a huge garrison, a huge reinforcing army. And slayers don't break. So maybe if I did the battle, I would have lost, all the slayers. When that battle report came back and he told me his strategy, being like, oh, this is how I'm going to do this. We're going to go in the east gate and the west gate. I'm like, I'm sold. That was too many words. Go ahead and attack. I don't give a fuck. And we've now met up with, I think that's Zufbar. In Kazakarak, the Great King, the High King, has now contacted me. He wishes to trade. Of course, I will be taking that offer. Also, if you guys have any suspicions, I don't quite sound like the Dwarf King. A little bit of lore. I'm not him. I'm a changeling, born changeling, and any species I eat, I can transform into. Touched by Tzeentch, but I don't worship Tzeentch. Don't worry, gamers. So, I mean, we're just taking his place to lead this whole army. Or at least that's my headcanon for how all this works, is that I'm kind of the person. I don't fucking know. I'll set that up way more next episode. Just where they're approaching from a northern front. I probably should have had that in my script. I have it in my notes, but not in my script. They're approaching from a northern front. They attempt to attack. We actually get a really good auto-resolve. And I mean, I'm going to take that. That's Warzag, isn't that? No, it's Azag. He's a really fucking decently powerful legendary lord. And we're just going to push up here. Godric's going to rotate around to hit one of their minor settlements. We're hoping to take their entire province, basically. Just capture it all. I think Kislev and some of our allies to the north will do some stuff. Now we have to focus on some research. Do we want to diplomatic relations? Do we want to focus on money? And I was touched by the blood gold. I saw these research trees improving money, improving our warriors, and I just couldn't help myself. The greed overcame me. I became too ambitious, and I thought far too far ahead. There was all these research goals of very powerful warriors, of esteemed amounts of money, and in my greed-touched state, I simply selected the one that in nowhere in the near future would benefit me. I just thought ahead, I took it. And we're going to take this all resolve. What we have to understand here is that the Slayers want to die. Now, if it's a veteran rank 9 soldier Slayer, I'm going to convince him that he has a higher destiny, is traveling with me for a reason. But if it's a plain old Slayer, not a giant Slayer, I think they're called. If it's just a plain old Slayer, I'm not really going to argue to them that, oh, hey, you have a lot to live for. They are our foot troops, and they are meant to be thrown away. Now, I respect their lives. I am the Slayer King, and they mean the world to me. But I have come to understand, as I have grown older and have been prevented my death, that it is a good thing to allow slayers to die. Those that want to survive and those who are fierce and determined will survive, especially this early in a campaign. Outside of that, we're going to push forward here. We're going to take another settlement. Godric and Felix are going to push up on my orders. They're losing a solid battalion, but it's against the filthiest groups of greenskins we've seen since an ancient mantis possessed a bunch of greenskins. I've been researching that for possible modded playthrough, but either way, we lose some troops. They attacked us between the turns. They rushed out of their encampment to come attack us, and then this guy was using the underway to sweep underneath us for a retreat. Now, we in fact did not attack them. We just kind of avoided them. And of course, the filthy kin, who I'm not even going to call kin, our disgusting cousins, the Chaos Dwarves, have in fact declared war on me. So we are going to push up to select and clear a front and hopefully hold strong against them. I just want a barrier between us and them. And honestly, this castle right here, it's a great, I'm pretty sure it's manling construction, but it's old manling construction. It was back when our bonds were tighter. It was back, in the times of Nagash, maybe. It was constructed by vampires, old bloods, so I can trust it with some dwarven fortifications put up over many months. It can hold the tide against, the shitty craftsmanship of the Chaos Dwarves. As we all know, they are by far inferior in every way. Look at this. We're sweeping over them like a tide of violence and gore. They cannot stand up against us, but they do have a second army. So, in fact, we are going to capture this settlement and then go ahead and rush our way in there. It's going to be a little bit of a difficult decision because we're actually making the choice of sacrificing the majority of our troops, which is a pretty horrifying concept, but we kind of got to do it. Also, I do hope you guys enjoy the new microphone. I blew a unethical amount of my money, and yes, this little segment is going to go unedited, so I can say this. An unethical amount of money on this microphone. The reviews on Amazon were great, but then I got to the website, and all the reviews were like, this mic fucking sucks. I'm like, oh my god, did they remove Amazon reviews? I don't know. It's a professional company. Like, it's sure. They're supposed to be really good. I haven't had any issues. It sounded great to me so far. We'll see how it looks once it's exported. But hey, we've got some sacrifices to be made here. We're about to lose our Giant Slayer, but as long as we keep our Thunder and our, I think it's a Harpoon. I do love the, what are they called? Like the Iron Drakes and the Iron Drake Troll Slayers or whatever they're called. Those are some of my favorite units ever. Iron Drakes are great, so are Warpfire Throwers. Like any sort of flame throwing unit is absolutely goated with the sauce. We're going to sacrifice our garrison here to have our boy do a little bit of a celebration I'm doing a celebration as we brutally take down these Chaos Dwarves. And we're left with an army, well, Godric and Felix are not. Well, just Godric. Felix was wounded in battle, as he frequently is. Kara's Karak is actually currently being hounded by this goblin tribe to the south. I didn't see them as a threat, as they were simply small little peckish goblins. But it seems they have been punching above their pay grade, as they kill the Great King. That's our Slayer Oath. We are going to go kill these MFers. No, they deserve it. These motherfuckers. We're going to go kill the hell out of them. We've gathered a new troop of Slayers, some actual armored dwarf infantry, and we are instantly charging into their lands. Fueled by pure hatred, pure malice, we are going to go in here. We are going to kill them one by one, taking their settlements and doing what needs to be done. There is not a chance in hell that these fucking goblins are going to survive this gosh dang assault. They kill our king, the High King chosen by the King's Council, and they have the audacity to not declare war on me. I'm a bigger fucking threat. I'm the goddamn Slayer King. No. I am very upset, if you can't tell. I'm going to charge in there. I'm going to fucking kill these little green pieces of shit. And we're going to unite these lands. Hopefully, I can only hope and pray that they kept the king a prisoner. Because if they kept the king a prisoner, then I could reinstate him into power. But if they killed him, then I will rule in his stead, and I will unite dwarf kind. Any dwarves I come upon that will survive, and most dwarves will survive. No one can kill dwarves, let's be honest. It was a fluke. He probably retreated or something. Dwarves don't lose. We hold out forever. It's impossible to kill us, even if we are a dying race. He had some gruesome bodyguards here, and we're going to lose more troops than I wanted to lose. And we'd gotten some new bow and arrow units. So I really wanted to push in here, do some solid work, just, get some more fighting done. I like to have at least 1 or 2 battles an episode, but ideally, I'm doing so many fucking more. So let's go into here. This dude's just a tank. Let's be entirely honest. Him and his rune smiths are absolute goated beasts. I don't think there's anything else to call them. Goated as in my Gen Z lingo. Y'all know me. But they are monsters. This dude fully leveled up like combat, or let's say you get, because you have 50 levels. 50 levels, you fully max, because this is what I did. Max out the blue tree, and then red tree, you go into slayers, you do maybe some artillery, and then some ranged units, like 2 and 2. And then you go into the other tier and you level them up. So 3 more points. It's like, 10, 20 more points. If you put only like 20 levels into the yellow trees, he can still solo entire armies. And you don't even need like the greatest ever like artifacts. It's beyond unfathomable. He's one of my favorite lords so far. And as you guys will see, I am really good with dwarves. This was actually the least dwarf I've played. But I'm actually playing modded Total War Warhammer 2 now. And it's going pretty hard. Godric and Felix, they are leaving. He got injured. They're a little bit world weary after that. They decided to travel back through the Empire, assist some. So we had to recruit a lord in their stead. I went down through the list. I found the perfect lord. Just a powerful young man who seemed to be protected and blessed by the gods themselves. So I recruited him and decided to continue my assault down here. The Ratkin think they are on scene as they scutter sneak through these lands to approach up into my holds. This will not go down. I will in fact slay these foul beasts as I did the goblins, or as I did the goblins. I was correct in my assumption. And on top of that, we're going to make some alliances. I know I said I'm not exactly the type for it, but there is some providence to be had in making friends, especially on the other side of the Chaos Dwarves, as they will push in and defend my honor. And here we go. As I said, I am a man of action, so I'm going to immediately push in against these disgusting vermin, and we will slay them where they stand. If we lose troops, so be it. They will fall beneath our blade. And with another battle won, little did I know I had just contracted a much bigger threat than I could ever possibly understand. Clan Moors is a powerhouse. Unlike any other, they wipe across the landscape like a wave, And knowing they're up this far would be convenient if I didn't know they spawned all the way down by fucking Calidor, which in this campaign I chose to ignore, even though I'd played them before, because I was trying to get into character, which I am in character. So, little did I know that this Skaven threat was far and expansive, fielding many more armies than I myself could muster. And to sweep across this land like I did, yes, every turn I was taking a settlement. Yes, my income was high, my economy was strong, my army was stronger. This is an example of Skaven infrastructure. They build up those massive fortifications, these massive settlements, in little to no time. What was I to do? Well, of course, the logical thing, push hard and fast and recruit other armies. I thought, of course, that with some hard work and some determination, let's put it at that, we can make some clear and powerful pushes and maybe even get this thread out by the end of the first episode. And this is when we were contacted by an elf, a knife ear. Now, they are dirty beard cutters. They have betrayed us time and time again, and they are seduced by the very chaotic gods we stand to oppose. But he left his own civilization to come here to hunt great beasts. I felt a sort of personage, or alliance, or brotherhood with this man. So I decided to establish connections, give him a chance. And little did I know that would be possibly one of the best things I would do for myself. As in building relations with him, I would have an ally for literal years to come. So here we are, pushing farther south. There's going to be a mix of directions, so I won't always get them right. Just got done with another headbutting contest. But cleverly enough, we're deep enough into, let's just call it the Age of Legends, with all of us expanding across the world. Or the Age of Empires. That's another game. But we're far enough into it that... Ooh, military access. I'll take that. I don't mind them walking through our territory. But we're far enough into it that no settlement should be unsettled. So if there's a ruin that looks unsettled, we can realistically say it's Skaven. And there's been a dwarf rebellion here to the north. And we're actually going to trade settlements to them. We're going to give them some settlements. We're going to trade them a couple settlements, collect some money, create an ally out of them, and possibly force them to go to war with the Skaven. So we're going to literally a brand new faction that's never existed before. We're going to bring them into conflict and just pit them against a great Skaven overlord. But we are a mighty king, so we're doing what's best for our strategy. We tried to retreat. We were ambushed. Turns out the Skaven didn't just have 3 armies to our south. They had one position to our north in an ambush stance. Who knows how many there were. Little did they know that, in fact, I don't give a fuck. I am a absolute monster at this point, fielding these great slayers that you will only see improve with time. They're already some of the best, most loyal soldiers I could hope for, and I'm accompanied by a grouping of some of the finest marksmen and finest artillery I'd seen in forever. The artillery's so fine that I didn't even keep back troops to protect it. I just trusted that they would hold their own in combat and push forward if need be. And in fact, that was true. I didn't have any issues here. I think probably the most issues I had was the warp fire throwers and the rattling gunners, just because they're such heavy-hitting little shitwads. And yeah, they are. They fucking absolutely destroyed the hell out of me. But I mean, with a front line that never wavers, never falters, and literally can't die until it's pretty deep in combat. We were doing pretty fucking adorably well. I don't think there was a complaint to be had. We sweeped over them. We dealt army losses. Yes, we lost a lot of slayers. It was a tough battle. And we lost maybe 1 or 2 troops, but luckily there are always eager slayers and eager troops ready to join us on our front lines against such an existential threat like the Skaven. And with the Skaven, we're actually going to trade this settlement to our allies here. We're just trying to make them a solid. I'm gonna call them a shield wall. I'm gonna call them what they are. There's no need to bullshit to mess with antiquities and words. They are simply a shield against us in this threat, and we might as well give up any territory to them if we intend to incorporate them into our kingdom later on. They advance forward, taking one of our settlements. If y'all hear any yowling in the background, I totally have a panther here in my king's hold. I'm not accompanied by a small, agile cat named Grungus the Archibald. Totally not true. I don't know why the fuck they sack every settlement. I'm glad it doesn't actually drain the fuck out of us, but they're going to begin outpost construction, which is going to allow them to get slayers, or at least I hope they're constructing it in a proper place. And these guys are hoping for more and more alliances because they're being pressed in combat. So we're actually going to levy these advantages. There's going to be a whole lot of diplomacy. We're pushing our advantage. We're making some friends. We're doing what's good for us and what's going to give us longevity as a faction. Well, unfortunately, here we are faced with many enemies. We're going to have to make some tough decisions. They're pushing up to the Karak, which I'm unwilling to lose. So I'm actually going to retreat and hope that they push over this way. Mainly because we have fortified this settlement, so it will not, if I remember correctly, it has maybe something. Well, it didn't matter. They pushed up north, and any losses are acceptable. I'm willing to even lose a troll torpedo. I'm only going to not lose 2 regiments of renown. I'm going to literally lose every other troop. But we are facing storm vermin, artillery, a whole shebang, a whole horrific mutiny of Skaven. As long as we keep our hero, our lord, and that's about it, I can recuperate. Especially since I'm wiping out their hero, their lord, and the strategy that my heroes gifted me was much superior to my strategy that I saw in visions and totally did not save scum 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. If you guys think that happened, you're silly. Some would even say stupid. But here we go. They took their major settlement. So in that, we are going to force a confederation. They are currently weak, so we are going to take those 2 settlements, and there are way too many heroes, and force in a confederation as stated, and then Stirland is going to want to become our ally. And with us forcing that confederation, we've become, I think, fiscally a high king is what it's called. So now with us pushing back, and with our reputation of a mighty slayer king, the other dwarf clans have approached us. There's only a couple that have not heard of us. That's like Ironbrow's expedition stuff, as they are far off in distant lands. Emmerich is basically trying to build every alliance with us possible. I think he's just a little bit too coy or afraid to approach us for an actual alliance. And now we are taking back all the settlements. Our ally to the south was killed. I'm not sure I mentioned that. But with this settlement and with a couple others, that will actually essentially be the end of this episode. We've got to defend right here against the rebellion. And then, I mean, there's not much more to do. Yeah, so I'm going to count that as the end of the episode. We're just going to take out these Skaven and have some fun. I really do appreciate that you guys have stuck by me until I got an actual microphone. I've put in a lot of work. And as shit changes, as content changes, I hope you guys continue to enjoy it. I certainly enjoy it much more rewatching these newer episodes. I hope it continues to improve. Outside of that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and wherever you're watching this. Hope you guys come back for more. If not, I hope you enjoyed your time here. I hope to see you guys again next time. If not, that's okay. And then positive affirmations. It means the fucking world to me that you guys watch my shit. It means the world to me that I get to put out stuff, and I get to be creative, and I just can't say thank you enough for the continued support, the subscribers. Everything means the world to me, and I don't think I'll ever be able to properly express how much it does. So all I will say is that